So to give you a big picture overview about how this process works step by step, first you need to scrape the data from your web or internal documents. Hence the word scraping, the process of getting the data, that's the first step. Then it goes into the second step of chunking the data, formatting it and making it clean for the LLM to understand it properly and navigate the text properly. You need to then upload it into the database LLMs used and understand, which is called knowledge base or more technically vector store, where all the information are stored in individual chunks and they are stored by meaning. So after you have filled your knowledge base with the cleaned formatted data, then you plug everything together in some no-code bot building AI agent platform like VoiceFlow, BotPress, N8N, Make.com, and so on. So first, let's look how to get the data from the web. Web scraping is simply using a software robot to visit a website and copy its text. Think of it like a super fast copy-paste machine that reads hundreds of pages in seconds. The problem is the raw HTML itself. As you can see in this example, we have all these tags, classes, functions, and unnecessary syntax. It's messy, full of code, and hard for the AI to understand and navigate the pure plain text. So what we should do in order for the LLM and our AI agent to understand, we should strip the noise and get just the data, just the clean data. As you can see in this specific example, we just extracted the price value from the entire code, right? But why is this process hard? Because most of the websites try to block these so-called scrapers we deploy. They have anti-bot measures. They have also dynamic content. Many modern sites use JavaScript to load text, and scraping fails if it doesn't wait for the particular elements to render themselves properly. Also, it breaks formatting, headers, tables, and other complicated structures often break when they are copied as they are. Also, LLMs, large language models, love structured formats like Markdown or JSON. These formats use simple symbols, like for example hashtags for headers, that AI understands perfectly. From my experience, top two tools for this transformation from HTML documents into a structured formats are these two scraping providers. One is called RAGus.ai. When you click on it, you can see how it looks. Basically, it gives you the ability to basically scrape any website, scrape it into arbitrary depth, and basically convert the HTML into the Markdown or JSON. Same goes with the second provider, so-called Firecrawl. It specializes in crawling entire websites as well as pages and handling complex JavaScript sites into JSON or Markdown. And this is the second provider for scraping, which basically has also so many API endpoints, so many ways how you can scrape the web, search the web, and so on. Let's go to the next step. Knowledge base and vector store. Vector store, as we've already covered, is a database or smart library. It organizes sentences by its meaning. It turns text into numbers, so-called vectors, hence vector store, so that the AI can find pricing even if the user searches for cost, for example. So you don't have to match the keywords exactly. That's the beauty of vector databases. And you can search for different phrases, but the vector store returns the items from the database by their meaning. So let's look which different vector stores exist. My favorite all-in-one platform is called VoiceFlow, which is AI agent, no-code bot building platform that also has the vector store under the hood baked in. Then there is OpenAI Vector Store, which is standalone vector store in the OpenAI ecosystem. Qdrant, for example, which is also very good and most used vector store nowadays, or Pinecone or Viviate. There are lots of platforms that have vector stores, so this is just a few to mention which are my favorite, and in a moment I will show you a tool that implements all of them, so you don't need to learn every platform to its limits and learn the APIs documentation and everything. How you build the agent, that's the final step, right? Let's say you manage to scrape the data from the web, you cleaned them, formatted them properly, and uploaded them into vector store. Now you are building the agent where you plug in your vector store and basically prompt the large language model to output the response, right? As I said, my favorite platform, which has many things under the hood, is VoiceFlow. So it's a no-code UI builder for chat experiences, AI agent experiences in drag and drop. So I recommend this one for sure. N8N, it's quite similar like VoiceFlow, and BotPress, it's also in the same level. But from all of these platforms, I like VoiceFlow the most, and then N8N. Let's look into the complete data pipeline, right? Just to sum this up, website, then it goes into the scraper, then you get the JSON or Markdown files, then it goes into the vector store, and then you have the AI agent response, right? So the real struggle of doing this all yourself, it's harder than it looks in tutorials that YouTube gurus show you, right? You need to basically prevent any kind of hallucinations, and that happens because of dump chunking. Most vector stores and bot platforms don't give you the control over how the data is processed. They just blindly cut the text into fixed sizes, for example, like every 1000 tokens or a fixed number of words. This cuts sentences in half and separates answers from their questions, causing the AI to hallucinate and break the context. Most platforms offer you natively. Output is full of junk, it has navigation menus, it doesn't clean the HTML boilerplate like footers, headers, and so on, banners, ads. You have to write the custom logic to strip all of this nonsense or somehow do it manually, which is quite bothersome. If you don't, the AI retrieves the footers and all this HTML instead of the actual answer and the plain content, right? You should implement multiple scraping providers, right? If one goes down, which sometimes happens, right? No such provider has 100% uptime. You should implement other one as well in so-called fallback mechanism. So if one of them basically breaks down, the other should continue, right? So to build a robust system, you should implement multiple providers, so-called fallback logic. So if one gets blocked, the other takes over automatically. Also, when you run the scripts periodically, you don't want your agent to be bloated with duplicated knowledge, right? So it should basically, the scraping should execute only on the content that actually has changed since the last run, and it should be so-called deduplicated. So you need to check the last modified values in the sitemap of the web, so you don't rescrape the unchanged pages, which saves you a ton of money. And you also, as I said, need to deduplicate the logic so you don't feed the same pages to your AI multiple times, right? To give you a little bit more context why I'm telling you this, we ourselves run AI agency quite successfully. In Czech Republic, I would say we are the first agency on the list that implements AI solutions actually for government and regional offices, city halls, and so on. We've already deployed in 2 years over 30 live deployments, and half of them was for regional offices, city halls, and so on. So that you know, I'm not making this up. You can Google the name of our agency and you can read through all of these reviews, all these articles that mention us and our solutions, and you can see quite lots of videos. Here is the actual offices of our company in the region where we live. So basically, I wanted to tell you that we know that implement all of this together in a production level is not so easy how YouTube gurus show you. So we developed a solution to ease the work for ourselves, and now I would like to present this to you as well. So let me introduce you the tool we have built for ourselves, and now we are providing it for other agency owners because we know that the problems we have had to face and we've managed to solve will have most of the AI agencies, bot builders, agent builders, automation builders, and so on. So this is all-in-one platform for any AI builders for scraping the web, structuring the knowledge base, and uploading it directly into the knowledge base. As you can see, the platform we have screenshot in here. So it's all-in-one platform, as I said, from managing the knowledge bases, managing the chatbots, agents, voice bots you have built, automating the tasks basically, and it's all in one white label solution so you can get it accustomed to your own business.